Okay, yeah. So talking about my journey, I am an engineer. I am a mechatronic engineer. So I started my career in a very engineering environment. I used to design industrial machinery, and this is kind of one of the paths that I believe it was very helpful for my formation as a leader, but also as an executive. That I had the opportunity to team up and be part of different functions and teams. So I have worked in multiple functions: engineering, finance, sales, and ultimately I found the passion on the digital space, where I have been for almost a decade. And the big thing about that is that this was very interesting, that I found again my engineering passion at this digital landscape, right? So how to connect the technology with the problem, the problem solving, and so on and so forth. But I'll say that having had experience in multiple business areas and multiple business units and functions, this has given me a very unique opportunity to have a more holistic approach, right? So how to use the engineering, the digital, the technology, the problem-solving mindset to solve real business mindset, and to be quite frank, also real consumer mindset. So I think that this has, enhanced my ability to be a good tech and engineering leader, but also with the ability to also team up and lead the other business functions, right? So when I look at today, this is basically what I do. I lead both the business teams on the e-commerce and D2C side, but also the engineering teams that are developing the products and the technology and so on and so forth. So, and the interesting thing about this is that all this career was a very long career in different business and functions and so on. And Dollar Shave Club has been a very interesting challenge to try to bring together all of this in a much more competitive environment, and to be quite frank, in a more modern era, right? So when I think about companies that are succeeding in the space of D2C and CPG and so on, they are relying a lot in how to use more cutting-edge technologies like AI, but also guarantee that we have all the data and modeling the engineering in a way that it's even more intertwined with the business decisions and so on and so forth. The way that I see this is that my formation as a leader has made me ready for a world that today it's much more intertwined than it was before, right? Before I could be an engineering leader that I don't have a lot of business sense, but today it's impossible. So I think that when I look at the challenge that we see, not only in my company, but across the board in the market, I do see that leaders that have been struggling are leaders that don't have this blend of the business and the engineering. So all in all, I think that over my career, there's always been, kind of approaching the engineering background and also the technology usage has been helpful to drive business results, and vice versa. I do think that having a business mindset helps a lot when you're designing products and you're designing your technology and so on and so forth. So talking a little bit about Dollar Shave Club. So it's a very beloved brand that we have been around for almost 15 years now. I'd say that probably besides the products that are very well known that we have, what makes us special is the fact that we have taken an approach that's a disruptor approach in different perspectives, right? So we launched products that are way less expensive, and they don't have kind of the useless features that people were used to. We were revolutionary on the approach of having an D2C first. So we are one of the first CPG brands to have an D2C operation. We revolutionized the market by introducing a subscription model also for support for CPG. So it's on our DNA to have this breakthrough approach in different aspects of the market in the grooming segment. I would say that this is not just what the consumer sees, but there's also a DNA of the internal org as well, right? So when you look at it, We try to be very mindful about what are the technologies that we use, how we can stay humble but also bold in the decisions that we make, and how we can guarantee that we are delivering the promise that we have. So ultimately, this has been a long journey, right? So probably one of the biggest challenges that we have today is how do we keep up with an ever-changing consumer and an ever-changing environment and ever-changing technology landscape. But also the business model has been changing, right? Today, to have a D2C, it's not breakthrough anymore. To have subscription business, to be quite frank, it's actually something that lots of brands are trying to do, and there's still a business model that's very challenging. And of course, we have lots of challenges in developing cutting edge products, just as our competitors in the space. So I would say that ultimately, besides the brand that everyone knows, the inside look is we are disruptors. So we have been disrupting industry, business models, products, pricing, and so on for quite a while. And this is what we stand as Dollar Shave Club. Yeah, that's a good question. I think that what I have learned over time is that there are some unique skills that they are very hard to develop over time, right? So one good example is data architecture, data, advanced analytics or things like that, which of course it's a great nice to have if you are working in the business or in whatever CRM, paid media, or whatever is the function that you are in the business. But it's very unusual to have that. So what I have found over time is that the overall approach of having multifunctional teams working together with different expertise and try to blend them in even more connected than the former product teams. I think that even for traditional business functions, teaming up with tech teams is the way that we have been doing that. And what I'm trying to explain is that today, the management system that I have, when we're talking about customer acquisition, I have the lead from paid media, the lead from CRM, but also the lead from engineering, the lead from data, and the lead from development and other folks like this, and they're all in the same room. So I think that at some point we thought that this was kind of this Scrum model to make development and products. And I do think that we're evolving in a direction that it's more from even the more traditional functions, they will be organized like this. And I do see a ton of value, right? Because then you can try to foster also development of this blend, right? So I'm pretty sure that my engineering director learns a ton about paid media or what's happening with the consumer, what's the price elasticity. And I also know that who's defining prices understand what's the impact down the line with engineering or what data is needed for us to put in our data warehouse to make a better model or so on and so forth. So I do believe that the way to go is through collaboration. It isn't an easy path, and I think that this requires a corporate culture that fosters this collaboration instead of a more siloed approach. Which is interesting because this is what we find again in Dollar Shave Club, right? So our culture is a more bold and agile, and it fosters this collaboration even though most of our teams are remote, right? Which puts an additional layer of complexity within the interactions and so on and so forth. So back to the original question, I do think that when we put the different talents with the different teams, the skills together, and we organize them in a way that they are able to collaborate with the same KPIs and with the same metrics, it's the best way possible, even if it's not just for the development's sake, right? Yeah, I think that there are, if I would mention, there are three aspects to it, right? So I think that one aspect is the fact that it is part of the corporate culture to collaborate and to foster those collaborations. Why I say that, and this may sound really very high level, but the fact that the culture fostered hey, you should connect with your peers, you should spend some time with them together, we should guarantee that everyone is in the same page about what are the challenges across the multiple functions, it does make a difference. So I think that's the first thing. We need to have a culture that fosters it. The second thing is I also do believe that I am a big believer of a strong management system to guarantee that things are hold together, right? So back to the discussion that we're having about product teams, I do believe that we need to have the proper rituals, meetings, KPIs, OKRs, and so on and so forth to guarantee that people can see things the same way and they have a routine to be together and to break down silos. Again, back to the example that I gave on having data engineering and acquisition together, we have this twice a week that we talk about business metrics, we talk about engineering metrics, we talk about sprints, we talk about features, deliverables, stories, and so on and so forth. So I am a true believer that you do have to have a strong management system to hold things together. And by having that, you basically break down both silos, but you also guarantee that you have a connection point with remote teams and so on. And I think the third one, and this is something that we have been doing so far, there's also the need to have in-person syncs, right? So we bring everyone every now and then, every month or every 2 months, we bring all of them in. We have planning together, we connect with people. I am a true believer that we need a personal connection, so people need to make personal connections to break down the silos and so on and so forth. Interesting enough, we had one of those with the entire team last week, and it's very, very visible, the impact on efficiency, productivity, the connection, the engagement, and so on and so forth. So again, I think that when we put all of this together, it's also paramount that we have the ability to accept the trade-offs, right? For example, in our case, we have people in very different time zones, and we have to guarantee that we have the ability to put all of them together at some time that makes sense for everyone, or how flexible we want to be, and so on and so forth. That's why I think that since it's built by design and it's built this way, it makes us easier to also onboard different people that are in different places or different backgrounds and cultures, because ultimately there is a connecting tissue that makes all of us together with the same objectives and so on. So I think that but the culture probably is the main aspect, right? When you make kind of the metrics that make sense for a collective instead of just a more individual culture, this helps a lot breaking down the silos. And to be quite frank, I think that this boosts a ton the engineering effectiveness, right? So as much as you are close to the client, close to the business with all the engineers and the product managers and so on, this makes a total difference with the final throughput or the final quality that we have, and even in building the best solution for the business, right? So today I do have engineers that they feel entitled to have the discussions about, hey, I don't believe this campaign is the best one, or this should be the approach for consumers, which goes way below way above and beyond their scope, right? Which is back to the original point. We are building the new future leaders that will be both business and engineering driven. Yeah, I think that for me the best piece of advice, and I have heard this throughout my entire career, I do believe that regardless of the function or that you're leading, if it's the engineering lead or if it's marketing lead or whatever you're leading, I do believe in people, right? I do believe in the talent, and I do believe in the ability to both develop but also hire the right talent, have the right talent with the right skills, and so on and so forth. But I would say that what I see success today, it's the ability to try to, of course, have high-skilled people working together and being part of the team, but also people that have kind of a growth mindset, right? So I do believe that we live in a very ever-changing environment, so the technology today won't be the same technology in 10 years. So it's I'm not saying that we don't need the hard skills, because we do, but we also do need to have the ability to find, hire, and train and incentivize people to have a growth mindset, to be learning about new things. So if we think 5 years ago, there were no AI experts whatsoever in the world. And now we do need people that understand AI. We do need people that are building architectures for that. We do need a completely different set of skills for infrastructure, as this highs and so on, not to say cybersecurity and so on and so forth. So my main point is probably the most important task of a leader is how to find, recruit, and train and coach the talent for the team. And I think this is even more challenging today with trying to get this blend of hard skills and the ability to learn as we progress. And that's why I think that having an open mindset to the entire discussion on where to find these talents is so critical, right? So we do have to guarantee that you are open to have people in different places, different time zones, different background, different cultures, and so on. And to be quite frank, one of the most talented SEO managers that I had ever, he didn't even have an college degree. He was just a very good expert. So again, I think that the blend between the skills, but the willingness to learn and to develop, it's probably what we're looking for. And this is the work of the leadership. Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I think that the original thought on Revelo comes down to, there was a moment that was leading kind of this large global organization, and I had kind of both been exposed to kind of the what are the good things to have a more global team and having different backgrounds and different approaches, but also being exposed to the fact that there are many countries, especially nearshore, that they have awesome talent, right? So I think that this was the first step, even before thinking about the partnership, was to acknowledge the value of having, these teams, and also broaden up the aspect of, hey, what else? Where can I find good talent, and for the different challenges that they may be having at some point. The second step was to try to find the right strategic partner, right? So I think that when I first come about to have discussion with Revelo was precisely on, hey, I do need to guarantee that we're finding the best talent. And again, this is not related only with skills, but also kind of the entire experience, right? We have to guarantee that we're finding people that have cultural fit. We have to be mindful of costs. We have to guarantee that we have people that have flexibility for their own work schedule. We have to guarantee that we also have the ability to leverage even process solutions, right? So like payroll and so on and so forth. So when we found Revelo, we had, of course, explored other partners as well, but Revelo was far away the most prepared partner in many of these aspects, right? Both in the hunting, but also in the employee experience, the backbone of processes, and so on. But to be honest, I think that this was just the start of the journey. What kept us doing business, even changing companies and so on, is the fact that I do see that Revelo really tries to understand what's the problem that's being proposed and what's the best solution, right? So it's not just a traditional vendor, hey, go get. I think that we work as the way that I think about them, it's more of a strategic partner where we can have discussions about their own technology roadmap for them, or what's the best solution for the problems, what we're really trying to get. And I think that we have been very successful doing that together so far. Yeah, I think that since we partnered with Revelo, there is a positive, first of all, cultural and engagement perspective. So the team was very, very focused in the West Coast, and I think that's been open to have more people from across the Americas has been very positive, both from a diversity of thought perspective, but also with different skills, right? I think that there are very unique traits that were brought to the table, like sense of urgency and so on. I am a true believer that both in the personal level but also in the cross-cultural perspective, each one of the cultures have their, of course, their goods and the bads, and if we're good at extracting what everyone do well, I think that we become a much more strong team. So I see that happening here. So I see that especially teams from Brazil and Mexico, they bring tons of sense of urgency and also the ability to hard work and to grind for problems. When you blend that with the North American culture that's more process-driven and long-term oriented, I think this is a very, very strong combination. So this is one of the things that I would say that were very strong. I think the second one is the fact that we do see that the speed to get the talents has been increased, our time to market. So we have been able to increase dramatically our time to market from development, but also from business functions, because we are able to rely on resources from Revelo. And the other thing is also the ability to flex our teams, right? So as much as we have not just for, let's say, for full-time employees or for long-term employees, long-term employees, we also have the ability to have kind of teams and contractors that can help us with peak development, like Friday or so on and so forth. So these are the three things that I would mention from the cultural aspect, from the efficiency, but also from kind of the flexibility from a workforce planning perspective. Yeah, I think that probably my recommendation is very much on the heart of engineering. I do think that people have to test it. So if you are unsure about it, I would assemble a team or, kind of hire 1 to 2 talents that you're really having a hard time find elsewhere and go from there, right? Of course, Revelo can also help, probably, giving support on the cultural aspect and so on and so forth. But to be quite frank, I do believe that this is a paradigm shift that engineering leaders will have to face one moment or another, right? It's simply very, very hard to keep on a high level and high productive and effective team, 100% on site and 100% in the same geography. So I do think that having the openness to test it and to understand and to see what's the value that's in there. To be quite frank, I don't believe that this solution probably applies across the board. As I said before, there is cultural aspects, that's the company culture. There's other things that potentially may or may not impact the decision to go this direction. But I would definitely recommend and incentivize that people try to see what if the solution fits it and if this can be helpful for the business. I personally believe that this has a ton of fun usage across many, many different segments, but it's important that the leadership embraces it. My final thought is, if the leadership doesn't embrace it, the likelihood of it to work, it's very, very low. So we do need the engineering leaders and tech leads across the board to embrace it and to really give it a try.